So my previous mindful muscle workshop, I had a question on how to use breath technique and meditation, specifically to overcome an early elbow pull on a snatch. And so this is a video to address that because it's a pretty complex thing. And mindfulness and meditation and breath technique can help. However, I would say it's more of not necessarily how you're breathing exactly within the exercise, rather it's the awareness that you've built before and preemptively, so that when you go into the exercise, you understand what is pulling early and why you are pulling early. Those are two different things. So from a personal trainer standpoint, from movement standpoint, I find that a lot of times when people pull early on a snatch or clean and things like that, it's because they are getting out of position to begin with. So that is forcing them to actually recontrol the bar in a different way. So that could be a poor starting position, losing part of the line as your pull, and then it could also be is that you're anticipating too early. So there's the fear is another thing. So even though you're like, hey, I just go up a few extra pounds, and all of a sudden I'm pulling like crazy with my elbows, fear is a part of that. So I will go over just to kind of some different breakdowns as far as the mechanics of coaching, how you might approach that. And then I'll talk a little bit more about what you could do as far as the application of fear, suppression, and control. So let's go into that. So very first thing I'm going to do is just my starting position. I don't have weights on this, as you can see. Is that once I'm in here, you can see I can be completely set up, but I can also be set up and be toe forward. So whenever I pull, I'm going to have separation from the bar, especially it's going to be harder for me to pull it in. And so I actually have to pull it faster or sooner in order to get it into position. So the idea is that, one, I have to make sure that I'm set up here. So I set up, I do a quick body stand, I engage the breath, and then the next step would be doing a slow pull. So I'm coming up, I'm doing this tempo, and I get into where I need to be. I make sure I pass through all the points with some slow tempo and control. Then it's less likely that I'm going to pull early because I know my brain has said, hey, I'm here, my elbows are straight still and relaxed. So again, and then the final drill that will really help is coming up and just doing a snatch pull. And the snatch pull, especially when you have weights on it, you can actually let it drop. So that makes sure you launch it and it relaxes. So again, working specifically with this. One, body scan at that bottom position. Taking the time, not rushing, right? Just like everything else, if we're rushing through things, we're not going to be aware of what's really happening. All right, we need to let time for processing. Then you go into a slow or a tempo progression for a pull. And it's really just a snatch deadlift, and you're making sure you're hitting your positions. This is helping you, one, be aware, have the cognition through each position, because remember, speed's going to make that more difficult. And as you do that, you're actually ingraining this new program. And so once you have that new program there, then you can speed it up because it's relatively automated and it's easier to go from there. Third one is a snatch pull. Now the snatch, it's not a snatch high pull, it's a snatch pull. And if you do this correctly with speed, it'll pop up and you let your elbows naturally rise because of the momentum of the bar. So it's just a relaxed, and then you relax and let your grip go so the bar drops back down. And you can reset. So there's a lot of speed, you're still going through that position. So there's a dynamic element. And then as far as how to maybe within look at some different things is where are you afraid and what happens when you're afraid. So when you're afraid, this is just a natural tendency is to close down, lock the jaw, and close our space. So one thing you can play with is relaxing the jaw through the pull, the top part, and see how that affects your elbows. Because hopefully that helps. The video, I'll just kind of type out what you should do as well to make it a little easier for you. But again, this is, you have to practice. And I don't mean just like the movement. You have to practice slowing down. You have to practice being in the moment and not wanting it to be something different. That's really what this can bring to your practice, so that regardless if you pull early, regardless if you fail, regardless if you get it, you are still enjoying each moment as it's in sincerity and peace. That's the idea. So hopefully this helps you guys. Be well, enjoy the moment, and I'll see you next time.